healer, and spiritual teacher. She is extremely passionate about educating and inspiring people about brain wellness, cellular nutrition, natural medicine, metaphysics, and empowered living. In addition to her chiropractic degree, Dr. Debbie has a master's degree in human nutrition and is a board certified in acupuncture. So she is here to present to us today, learning more about the intuitive you. So a big round of applause as we welcome Dr. Debbie Roche.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eileen, and thank you all for being here. I see a lot of dear friends out in the audience and people that I know and love, so thank you so much for being here today. It is such a wonderful event. First Unity Spiritual Campus has been my spiritual home. Thank you. Has been my spiritual home for many a year, 18 years now, so super grateful to be back doing my work here. I do want to mention that First Unity is going to be creating a healing center here. And so it's going to be in the old music office. I'm super grateful to be a part of it. Reverend Kimberly has been doing such great work organizing the center, and we're just starting to do the renovations. So please come on back and check it out. There's going to be a lot of great practitioners there, and both metaphysical in terms of intuitive, and I'll be there with the chiropractic, acupuncture, and functional medicine. And so, please check it out. There'll be some great events there. The title of the talk today is Intuitive You. And the reason that I chose this topic is because I believe that it is our intuition that is our greatest gift when it comes to stepping up and embracing the people that we are most meant to be here on earth. And my background is in the sciences. I have such a great love of cells. I've been studying them and looking at them my entire life. I am mesmerized by the concept of the cell. For me, it is the first incarnation of divine energy. And so for me, there always is great magic in the cell, and I've been studying them for my entire life. And so a lot of what I teach really combines the magic of the divine as it flows through the body and through the heart. And then how do we express that in our everyday life? And so in terms of intuition, and I grew up in a family where there was a lot of negative stuff going on, so I walked through a lot of trauma, and so my gift and my connection to the divine never kind of shut down as a child. And so I've always carried that connection to the divine in many different ways, because it was kind of always a sacred spiritual parent that kind of kept me safe in my everyday world, since home wasn't always safe. And so I believe that every single person sitting in this audience has the ability to connect to their intuition in higher and higher ways. Whether it be a nudge once in a while, whether it be when you're making a decision, or maybe in a quiet, reflective place, that it's that intuitive guidance and our connection to the divine that really is our most powerful asset when we are navigating this thing called life, and making the choices, and most importantly, taking the action steps to move toward, what we're most wanting to be here, whether that be in a career, being an awesome parent or caregiver to somebody, or just experiencing living, life itself. And so, in my experience, and also in my experience with the people that I work with in terms of intuitive development stuff, there are 5 main areas and ways that intuition comes through us and kind of comes into our awareness. The most common, there's actually the 2 most common that I most often see is clairaudience, which is the ability to see images. And clairaudience is the ability to hear. And so for me, I'll be, walking or doing my thing, and I'll either hear a word or a phrase or something like that I know it's not necessarily a sound out there, but it's a message from somewhere else. And so clairaudience is oftentimes people talk about hearing things. The other most common one that I see is clairvoyance, is the ability to see pictures. And so that's probably one of the strongest ways that my intuition comes up I have kind of a psychic movie screen in the front of my brain, and I'll be doing things, and then I'll check in, or I'll bring up 2 different situations to tap into, to feel the vibration of them. But I'll see either an image, or actually see like a little movie clip on the front part of our brains. And so for those of you that love science, and I'm a science geek, so I'm always researching. There's a lot of actually brain wellness type tips that you can do to help your intuition kind of blossom, and you can connect to your intuition even more clearly. I'll get to that in a second. Clear sentience is the feeling. So sometimes when I'm sitting in front of somebody, I'll actually feel their heart, or the pressure of their heart. So that often can indicate that they're struggling something heart-based. Let's see. Clear sentience is the knowing. And so sometimes people really don't have a way to express how their intuition gets to them. And and these are all these fancy words, but usually it's either seeing something, hearing something, feeling something, or knowing something. And that's when I first, in my early years, that's kind of how my intuition would come. I would just know things, and so that is cognizance. And the last is clairgustance, which is taste. I don't, once in a very while, that will kind of creep up for me, but that isn't the one that that's not usually my go-to intuitive-wise. But in terms of connecting to our intuition and ways to enhance that, there are a few kind of principles that have helped me along the way work with my intuition and help people develop their own intuition. And so one of the things that I notice in many of the people that I encounter is that they really love the divine, the spiritual activity, intuitive thought, and intuition in general. But what I have found, both personally and in the work that I do, is that if the physical body is not grounded, you can't expand out to kind of connect and collect the messages. And so I have found, both in myself and many other people, that if I'm not physically grounded and I'm not working with this idea of being grounded to the earth, then my messages are not as clear and I can't always get them as effectively. So the different ways, it could be simply as a walk or a massage or doing a little bit of yoga, or making sure that the foods that I'm eating are more high vibration and not really dense. Like when it comes, in terms of animal product or processed, or grains are a little bit more dense than higher vibration foods. And so I have found that, especially in hydration, specifically for me and my brain, if I'm not really active on those things, then my messages are not going to be as clear. I'm a really big believer. I recently published my book. It's called The Joy Matrix. And the book has a lot of sacred meaning to me, because I really wanted to produce something that was from my heart, both from what I've walked through trauma-wise and my research and my healing, but also I really wanted to portray the divine and intuitive connection and guidance in the light that it really should be. And so in that book, it really, it's based on certain metaphysical principles of vibrational frequency. So for those of you that are new to the metaphysical field, vibrational frequency is the energy at which we as a human body and our cells vibrate at. And so there are certain tools that you can apply consistently to help increase the vibration of that energy field, or to decrease it based on our actions. And so the book was written, there are 77 tools that are focused on increasing vibrational frequency for many different areas, including functional medicine, nutrition, brain wellness, functional neurology, energy medicine. And it may come from a lot of sciencey, technical stuff, but it's written in a very usable form. So those of you that don't like the science, it can be opened anywhere and it can be used. That being said, there are a couple of things that can actually block intuition. And probably the thing that, there are a couple of things that what I've seen both in myself and other people, is that if you have chaos going on, whether it be externally, internally, intellectually, if there's areas of chaos that you haven't quite gotten to yet or haven't quite worked on yet, that can definitely create static in your connection to the divine, or the divine realm. And so if you're feeling disconnected, or you're wanting to enhance your ability to connect to your angels and your guides. Look around. If you're having external chaos around you, calm it down somehow. Or if you are feeling your heart and you're struggling here, write it out in a journal. Or if you're feeling too many squabbles or squiggles in your brain, meditate. So these are just some of the go-tos. And for me, if I feel my biochemistry off a little bit, I'll make sure I'm hydrating, I'm juicing. So for me, I'm very sensitive to inflammation and adrenal health. So those are two of my best areas, functional medicine-wise, that I love a lot, both from a personal perspective and also helping people with them. That oftentimes is that for people that have trauma in their history, their brain is going to be very sensitive to certain things. And one is going to be inflammation in the body, and another is going to be stress, and also decreased signaling in the frontal area of the brain. I don't want to get too technical. It's a lot of good stuff in the book. If you have any questions, please reach out. Also, there's also something I also see in a lot of the people, both intuitive clients and functional medicine and other patients that I see, is that when we disconnect from our heart, like a lot of people, their heart chakras will be off. But when we don't have, most of us maybe have needed to do this for survival and to just get through the day, or many other things, that when we are not tapping into our heart and able to feel our feelings, then that disconnection will also create a block to our ability to really hear our intuition clearly. Those are the two biggest areas that I see. Also, when the physical body is energetically off, whether that be chakras or meridians, what that does is it sends a stress signal to the brain, and that brain will then block your connection, your intuitive connection. So another way that you can help align your physical body is to start working on those areas. Those are a little bit, sometimes you might need somebody else to help you with those, but there are some great chakra meditations online. I use a lot of essential oils, especially with the heart chakra. There are many different ways to help stabilize the energy field. I really wanted to leave some question time at the end, because that's something that I really wanted to interact and see what questions people might have, and we'll do that in just a few moments. There's a couple of events that I have coming up, both at First Unity and outside of First Unity. I have flyers. One is a leaky gut, leaky brain in-person class, and it can be accessed on Zoom. This class is donation-based. And I'd be willing, if people come in person, to muscle test that area on you to see if you have any weaknesses in that region. Because if you have a leaky gut, you definitely have a leaky brain. And so I'm so passionate about brain inflammation and the impact that it has on our emotional health. So this would be a great class for that. I also have a series of classes coming up at First Unity. Many different classes are going to be done on the last Tuesday of every month for the next 7 months. So here's a list of those. I also have just a list of what I offer in my practice. I do a lot of functional medicine. I love cells, like I said. I also do chiropractic medicine, acupuncture, and I also do intuitive readings. I have 2 intuitive-based classes coming up. I'm doing an intro to intuitive development class 2 weeks from tomorrow, and that'll be a 3-hour class. And then I have a 4-week series on intuitive development that really is about tapping into the heart and looking at the different areas of stabilizing our different energy fields and our chakras, and ways of really connecting further to our emotional selves in connection to the divine, and how do we strengthen that. So anyway, if anybody has any questions outside of here or at any other time, please don't hesitate to reach out.
We could ask some questions.
Absolutely.
So let's give you a big
Yes.
round of applause. Thank you. So I'd like to open it up for questions. So raise your hand and...
I have a question.
Yes.
this lady first.
Do you have a website?
I do. It's right in the midst of being launched, so that should be
Okay.
up probably by Wednesday or Thursday. I'm also on YouTube, so I have a lot of
Great.
good content there-wise, and also on Facebook, Vibrant New Wellness,
Okay.
and so Dr. Debbie Roche.
And one more.
Yes.
Is your book in digital form?
Not yet.
Not
I'm
yet?
still working on that process.
Okay.
I have some hard copies here, but I'm still
Okay.
working on the audio and the digital form.
Hey, this lady at the back.
Yes.
When you're speaking of chaos in your
Yes.
life, is it more of your personal chaos, or is it just the individuals around you, or circumstance around you, or how do you define chaos? Define it.
Okay, yes. So all of the above. So when it comes, Usually people that have intuitive gifts are very, very sensitive. So if you have chaos anywhere around you in your energy field, you're going to absorb it. And so if you have that and it's not a situation that you can shift, then there are some tools that you can use to kind of block your energy field from theirs. But when it comes to the brain and being triggered emotionally, so if it's other people's energy, then there are ways of either detaching or creating some energetic blocks to preserve your energy field. But if there's something emotional going on where you're emotionally triggered, what happens is that jacks the brain and it overactivates the amygdala. And when you're in that state, it's very, very difficult to hear messages clearly. So did I answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? That means you're all going to make an appointment and visit with Dr. Roche one-on-one, right?
So if you would like to add yourself to my mailing list, it's right here. There's, like I said, any of the any things that I have cards and lists of classes and things. So, and also feel free to reach out at any time.
Thank you. So I'm going to invite Dr. Debbie Roche, to step off to the side. So if anybody, while we get set up for our next presenter, so if anybody wants to talk with